Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Nursery to Varsity. In today's video we are going to talk about the data drift. We have talked about the pros of the big data ecosystem, like how with the help of big data ecosystem we can get the insight of this tons of data we have, and that can leverage our business. Like how complex is the big data ecosystem is. There are so many moving parts and the moving variable, hence the data drift is a natural consequence of all the diversity that big data has. Having said that, data drift actually creates a serious technical business challenge for business to looking to harness the insight and full potential that big data has to offer. So let's get into the depth and understand what actually the data drift is. So while reading about the data drift, I encountered this good definition which I believe explains the actual problem. So it says like unpredictable, unannounced, unending mutation of the data. That's what the data drift is. So there is good saying like, so what you are what you ingest, right? So if your data is polluted, and your outcome will be polluted. You cannot get the good insight if your data is polluted. So we can categorize data drift in three different ways. First one is the infrastructure drift, second one is the semantic drift, and third is the schema drift. So let's try to understand what is the infrastructure drift. So basically we have plenty of components and the software in our ecosystem. Any change in that software can create incompatibility with other system or software, such as like upgrading or adding a new system, new software component that involved in production, or even think about the cloud migration. So any that sort of change can create a huge problem. For example, let's consider you have the ecosystem where you are currently using Kafka 0.9. Now you upgrade it to 0.10 as the Apache Kafka has released the new version of it, and just because of that you are that this can cause the incompatibility between the existing systems are. So it's possible that another software is not compatible with the 0.10 version, so it can cause a complete failure. So that basically is the infrastructure drift. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the semantic drift. So what is the semantic drift? Basically this sort of drift occurs when the meaning of data changes even though the structure hasn't changed. For example, consider you are collecting data of your customer and very specific where they reside. For example, whenever the customer fills the form, they are asked for their current location, and how they provide that? They provide the PIN code of their area. Now let's consider you have the filter saying it should be the minimum 6-digit value and it should be the integer. Okay. Now there can be a certain record which is not actual pin code, which is not the valid pin address. So if we do not error out or dump that record, it can misrepresent our entire result. So let's say if someone entered 1 2 3 4 5 6 and that is not the valid pin code, and if we allow this data to populate to our next system, it can cause a misrepresentation of data. So in order to detect this sort of drift is very compulsory, otherwise it can give you the false statistics of your analysis. So even though the data looks the same, but their meaning has changed during the time. So we need to figure out how we can error out that sort of data. Another example is would be if you're collecting the geolocation of any system, and let's say so in order to provide that, what this GPS sort of sensor do is they give you the longitude and latitude information. Let's say if they are pointing to a location in between the sea, so that's not the valid location, right? So how you avoid that? So you can have a system where error out record within which is out of that range, and in that way you can detect this sort of semantic drift, so it won't cause any misrepresentation of the data, and the actual meaning of the data remain intact. So third and the last one is the schema drift, basically where the structure itself change. For example, you have a database schema where later you are going to add new field or remove some field or change the type of that field. For example, pin code thing, initially you thought of giving the string as that data type field and later realized no, it should be the integer or a numeric value. So that can that sort of change falls under this category. And we have to understand, like we cannot have the predefined schema, and in the current scenario schema is going to evolve, going to be a constant. So we need an ecosystem which can accommodate all these changes and does not crash whenever there is change in the schema.
So this is all for today's lecture. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any queries, you can either comment in the comment box or mail us at the nursery2varsity@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.